2018 NXL World Cup. The semifinals here in the professional division are about to go down. We're here at the Gaylord Palms Resort in Kissimmee, Florida. I'm Matty Marshall alongside Marcelo Margot and Ryan Greenspan from San Diego Dynasty, as they did get knocked out in the semifinals against Impact. We will be picking their brain about that matchup and the sport itself. But let's start talking about these two matchups here. So we're in the semifinals. The Russians are going to be taking on Edmonton Impact, and AC Dallas is taking on Houston Heat. Marcelo, let's start with you. The Russians and Impact, what are you expecting to see out of this matchup?
I think that match could be won and lost on the break. Russians have been doing a really good job of shooting people on the break and then attacking down the snake side. So it's kind of how they beat them yesterday. They got a lot of penetration on the snake side. They were really hyper aggressive, and they would get into the spots and then just control the game. That's why I believe it was 3-2 in an overtime win for them. You know, really long points, but the Russians were up the field. So it's going to come down to if Impact can kind of, counterattack that or slow them down. But the Russians look really good today, especially after that 9-3 win over Damage.
Moscow Red Legion, the Russians, 5th place heading here into World Cup, and what an outstanding story here. Kirill Peridny and the coaching staff of that team they've rebuilt this squad. They had some French mercenaries for the past couple years, but they have picked up these young, hungry, aggressive front players like Karslev and Leo Smotrov. They got a couple other guys out there like Polnikov. But man, the veterans held it down. Kirill Peridny, Golev, Malloy, Alexander Britnikov in the running for overall series title holder.
And they have Vaisa Panteleev back, which is absolutely huge for them. I love that he's back on the team. I got to play with him in 2012. He's a solid player. He's very consistent. He's been playing over in Europe, stunting. So they have a strong team right now, Matty.
And let's move on to Edmonton Impact. Ryan, what are your thoughts on Edmonton Impact right now?
You know, they're playing well, but they're not doing anything special, I don't think. You know, we had a couple hiccups and a little less penetration on the snake side that we had liked against them. But, you know, the Russians beat them yesterday. They looked beatable in a couple of their prelim matches, and they're just not as aggressive on this outside on the snake side. They tend to be going 3 guys over on that Dorito side, and while that's a good way to slow the field down, I think it's an easy way to you could pick that game apart, I think, pretty easily. So they're really relying heavily on Keith Brown and Alex Goldman to really do a lot of heavy lifting over here, but with that, they can't afford to make mistakes with their only 2 bodies.
I do agree that they have been way more aggressive on that Dorito side of the field than they have on the snake side, which is kind of strange. Now, I'm not saying that Mouse or that Keith they haven't played aggressive at all over here. I mean, there have been some flashes of brilliance from both those guys. But, however, I think that they might need a little bit more aggression. You have to keep multiple bodies over here, because if you start losing bodies, like look at how the Ironmen lost. They got shut down on the snake side. They could not find a way to get Kyle Spica into the snake 3 points in a row. And even though they had a 2-point lead, they had to win on their heels because Bobby Avila stepped up in a couple points, and those are the only 2 points that they put up.
Right, and you know but that's been what we were able to do really well. Well, actually, not we. What Tyler Harmon has been able to do really well is pick apart that being that solo player on that Dorito side. And I don't think putting 2 bodies over there or an extra 3rd body over there is the way to push down that side. It's literally a one-on-one battle, and as soon as you get by that guy on the Dorito side, you're able to make moves over there. But like you said, I think having the 3rd body on the snake side, because you have to have the last man standing. If one of your guys accidentally gets dinked out, then you're usually playing, on the Russians especially, a 3-on-2 or a 3-on-1, and they're up in your side of the field. And watching a lot of their games on the webcast, and just how the Russians beat them last night, how PC Katana did well against them, and the 2 games that we won really definitively was getting into their snake and wrapping around that side of the field, getting the first kill on the snake side, and just taking advantage of that weaker body side.
How are you guys been deciding where you're going to put the 3 or the 2? Because mostly it's 3 snake side. Occasionally there will be 3 on the D side of the field. How are you figuring out that that's the play to run?
Well, it's if a team is crashing down the snake side really fast, you want to get to that where Rainey stands at goes. Okay, and that we actually made a huge mistake not identifying him in the.
We'll tell people where that is, just so they know.
Okay, so there's a center can on the center of the field we call the command center. It's in front of the Dorito side can. That side can see the landing zone and the lane into the snake, so you can really slow down and stop a team from making moves in there. We know that when Rainey was lined up on that side, that's exactly where he goes. We didn't identify it in the second point, and he caught 2 of us going through there. Huge mental error on our part, not identifying the bodies, but Rainey plays that spot every single time, and he locks down that snake. So watch for him to line up on the 3rd body over on that Dorito side, go right around into that can in the center, and lock down that snake side. Just slow him down. Because once you do that, you really stunt the movement on that snake side.
Now, the Russians, they have Leo Smotrov on this snake side of the field. They also have that Pantalev over here as well, too, Malloy. Smotrov's been a little hit or miss again. You know, he's losing gunfights out of some of his spots, but today, particularly, he played a lot better. So that's really going to help the Russians out. On the D side, they have Karslev, who's definitely been a missile on that side of the field, and that was one of the reasons that they were able to win Chicago is, you know, him taking that ground over there. And I did think that Smotrov played a lot better or more consistent. I mean, Smotrov just has that ridiculous top end, and he's just trying to find a home and figure out, you know, in his head, okay, well, what can I do out here? When should, you got to pick and choose your battles out here. Marcelo, you started as a very aggressive front player, and slowly but surely, you know, earned your right to play the 2 situation. Obviously, Ryan, you did that too. But how hard is that mental battle you think that Leo Smotrov is going through right now?
Well, I think he's doing a good job of getting there, actually. He's obviously slowed his game down a little bit, but even when I was attacking, I've always valued methodical play over reckless aggression. I think if you could get your way down the field smart and effectively, you're going to be way better off for your team than just streaking down, winning a point or 2 during a match. So it just comes down to minimizing unnecessary risks, you know, and that's hard to understand as a front player, especially if you don't have the experience, but you get that experience by making those moves and getting shot on it, you know, as long as you are honest with yourself and can process how you got shot and try not to make the same kind of mistake again.
Let's talk about AC Dallas and Houston Heat. Now, AC Dallas took down X Factor in a very close match. Houston Heat had a really tough one, but they were able to get the victory against the Ironmen. The Ironmen put those first 2 points on the board, and then Heat 3 unanswered. They would have put the 4th one on the board, but ran out of time. So, Ryan, AC Dallas, Houston Heat.
Yeah, you know, we practiced Houston Heat, and even let's go back to the last European event. They just looked like they were just barely squeaking by on all the points, and I feel like, how many overtime points did they play? Was it 2 matches rather? They played 2 or 3?
For Houston Heat.
Yeah, I know they played 2 for sure. It was their last 2 or overtime.
Well, Houston Heat defeated DMG, and they beat them up pretty good. Then they played Elevation and absolutely dominated them.
Yeah.
They won again by 2 points against Aftershock, and then they went into overtime against X Factor.
Okay.
So, and that was Houston Heat really only, I wouldn't even say stumbled, but had a tough battle against X Factor in the prelims.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think that they're going to do well, and I feel like they really need to rely more on the Russian guys, though.
Yeah, I agree with
Marcelo and
that.
I have been talking about this, like, just, you know, again, watching their last match in Paris. I know they took 2nd place to Impact, but I don't know why you'd ever sit Fedorov.
Well, I can understand, but Fedorov obviously had the ankle injury, right?
He was fine.
Yeah.
He's
I talked
healthy.
to him, and, you know, it's Konstantin Fedorov. If he has a few off points, if I'm the coach, I'm putting him on the field.
Well, another thing, too, is I think that he kind of needs that confidence, that nod from the coaching staff a little bit. But I also think that he's playing this event with a giant chip on his shoulder, like, hey, I'm going to earn the right to get my playing time back. I'm Konstantin Fedorov, man. I'm like one of the Michael Jordans of this game, you know, giving my spins. And so I think he came out to this event with a renewed fire and a vigor to try to reassert himself as one of the best players out here, and he definitely looked amazing. I mean, he had a 5-pack run through. He was winning close points and repositioning crazy all over the field. What's up?
He's pretty good in World Cups.
He is really good in World. He's got an excellent World Cup record. I mean, I think he's played in something like 9 World Cups. He's been absolutely outstanding. So look, we have to look at Konstantin Fedorov. I mean, he's been just dominating in their last couple matches. But the thing is I think one of the reasons is, look, Ryan was trying to get some other guys some spins, but they were proving themselves. Nico Hyde really stepped up. He'd been playing outstanding. He did win an MVP along with Ronnie Dizon during their big victory. And since they did win without having to start the Russians, I think that kind of said, okay, well, hey, and now that's a good look for their team because now they have more depth. But you definitely want to utilize your weapons. So I am glad that they are letting Fedorov start, and he definitely has been having a miraculous performance after a miraculous run through. I mean, he's been just ridiculous out there. But you know who's really stepping up for Houston Heat at this event? Ryan Moorhead.
Yeah.
Ryan Moorhead's been just phenomenal. He's their kill count leader. As we are watching AC Dallas come on. Now, AC Dallas gets John Jackson back So John Jackson at the very end of their game against the Los Angeles Ironmen, it definitely got a little wild because the AC Dallas guys, you know, according to the Ironmen said, hey, they bonus balled us at the first event in Vegas. Maybe they forgot.
Can I interject really quickly? I heard that same thing, and dude, get over it, you little babies, dude. Well, we heard the same thing. We're like, man, I wonder why they're just going after each other so much. Oh, goo gaga, he shot me in he overshot me in Vegas. Like,
I'll tell you what, I loved it though.
Hey, I loved
whatever
it too.
it takes to motivate you. Though,
my memory was long too. If you bonus ball me, I'm gonna turn around and be like, oh, okay, it was Ryan, and I'm not gonna wait that long. I'm gonna give it to you the next chance I get.
Sorry, keep going with the John Jackson in
No,
prison.
I'm just saying that John Jackson was in paintball prison, and in that last first game, the very first game of their quarterfinal matchups. Now they were still able to take the victory. So there was the little engagement between John Jackson and the referee. Hey, I'm always look. I always tell players, if you feel, and there was a shot of him in paintball prison, you see the commissioner Jason Trojan making sure he doesn't escape. But
that's too funny.
But look, I will always tell guys, if anyone ever asks me, hey, if I feel I had a bad call, what do you think with the refs, and you don't want to get on the bad side of the refs, I'll say, if you really truly believe that the call did not go your way and it was a bad call, then plead your case, but be very careful pleading your case, because you do not want to get on the bad side of the refs.
Yeah,
100%.
Choose your words wisely. Hey, I was in paintball prison, the inaugural event of the NXL Open, when we maliciously overshot Archie Monomer with a ball in his pack.
You're such a bad man out there, Ryan.
Yeah.
Can't believe you do that to Archie.
That's my penalties.
He used to play on Dynasty. I can't believe you do that to a former teammate like that.
We tried to put him in the hospital, shooting him in the pack one extra time.
Yeah, so it looks like we have our Impact and Russian Legion players out here about ready to play this point. They're going to put a little bit more air in these bunkers. But, you know, even without John Jackson, who's definitely one of their starters, and he's one of those stopgap measures, you know, the guy that can make the fill out, guy that can steal points. He did win a one-on-one earlier on in the prelims. And they just did a really good job of going blow for blow with X Factor. They shut Archie down in that game.
Yeah, and I think that's something that you need to identify. You know, obviously they have other weapons, especially Billy on this side, and the guys that are playing on this side of on the Snake side of the field. But you identify where the threat is. Impact did a good job of trying to neutralize Tyler. Same sort of concept. But yeah, you find out who's stinging you, and you try to get them. You try to neutralize that player.
Yes, X Factor. There's a reason why they've made every Sunday for 4 years in a row. The whole team is filled with weapons. You know, who stepped up for X Factor was Colt Roberts. We're about to jump into this first point here.
And speaking of neutralizing it, and on this side, this side of the field, if you can neutralize Malloy
and Mouse by shooting him, as Mouse can be the first body to walk off. But yeah, you want it. Look, Malloy is so hard to neutralize because of the way he makes his moves. He doesn't telegraph much. I mean, he'll make a dynamic move all of a sudden. So two bodies have right now dropped as Karslev takes a walk, and Golev as well too. But it looks like, is that another body coming off for Infamous?
Impact, yes.
Sorry, Impact.
Zach Yakimek and Mouse both got shot early. Mouse got shot on the break.
But Dalton's all the way up in, or is that Justin Corn? Who's that, Brandon or Justin?
I believe that is.
That may be Justin. That plays JC, or is that Dalton?
That is Dalton.
That's Dalton. So Dalton's in their Dorito right now, as Malloy sees that and does a quick counter move, and is going to get a shot right here on.
This is Smotrov in the Snake 2
on Justin Rabikoff. Oh, this is Smotrov.
Yeah, Smotrov trying to polish this off here on the Snake side of the field. He runs past him.
Dalton's still alive.
Yeah, they had no idea that Dalton was over there, but here comes a body coming off, but it's not going to matter. But this is that type of field.
Wow,
it's basically there's two battles happening. There's a battle on the Snake side and there's a battle on the D side. We haven't seen much in the middle at all here at this event. A little bit here or there, but mostly it's, you know, you have a war going on the Snake side and a war going on the D side, but Smotrov was just a little quicker on the punch, even though Dalton was pushing the issue and getting kills on that D side for Impact.
So he noticed Dalton make that big move over there, and he realized that there was 2 kills off this Snake side, and that is a big read, because when teams go 3 one way or the other, if you see 2 of them quickly walk off the Snake side, you know immediately that's a really good heads-up play from him right there. And when he saw Dalton make that move on the Dorito side, he quickly counterpunched all the way into the Snake and was able to catch J-Rav in that
You could see there's Cozy Rev, and he was talking to Karslev. So Cozy Rev, I haven't really seen him much out here at this event, but he's done real good off the bench in limited spins. But they've been running with, you know, their main guy on that side of the field, Karslev. But, you know, Karslev getting eaten up by Dalton over there. Now we're going to jump into the first point here. Houston Heat, AC Dallas. Heat on your right, AC Dallas on your left, and on the breakout, doubling up that back Aztec, it's Houston Heat. So real conservative break, and the off the break shots work. So the heavy gun play is going to get Matt Jackson off the field.
Yeah, and that's a dangerous little corner to round. As soon as you run that tempo, the first shots from the Dorito side can drop right in there.
Look at this though, Ronnie Dizon making big moves into the 40-yard line. On that D side, he's going to go right to the 50. And he's backed up by Fedorov. So the 1-2 punch for Houston Heat on that D side of the field. Konstantin Fedorov and Ronnie Dizon, one of the big reasons that they are here in the semifinals. But this man diving into the Snake, Ryan Morat has been their most consistent player. If Heat wins this event, and continues to play the way he's been playing, it's going to be a real tough call between Fedorov or Ryan Moorhead as for MVP.
Ryan Moorhead has had an amazing last couple of events. He's just been super solid, very consistent for them.
He's another guy that's been
again this year.
Well, same thing with you guys. You guys have been around forever, dominant, legendary players, but it's motivation. You always have to ask yourself, why am I still doing this? What do I need to do to get better? And it's like you said, it's been impressive to see Moorhead continuing to be very motivated. Not only that, he's still a 1. He's still a first attacker. It's tough to do it for as long as he's done it for.
That long. Yeah, it takes a toll. You know, we talk about it. And you know what the funny thing is? He doesn't really wear any pads. Did you know that? He wears no knee pads and no elbow pads.
Well, here comes Ryan Hall as Ryan Hall jumps up and over the bunker to try to take out Moorhead, but it's not going to matter because that D side was blown open. So Houston Heat looking real good here in this first point. He doesn't wear any pads?
No, he wears these. He wears. Let's check a replay.
Yeah, we'll talk about it in a second. But so Ryan Moorhead,
right here.
the no padded wonder here, is about to get bunkered as Ryan Hall comes up and over the top. So.
And then gets a couple extra right there as well.
But even though that looked pretty, it didn't work out because that D side was just completely blown to bits for AC Dallas.
Yeah, so let's go back to that again. So yes. Ryan Moorhead and I have been playing. We've been playing for a long time. You know what I mean? Like he's one of the older guys out there. He does not wear knee pads. He wears this weird little knee sleeve brace kind of thing, which is just like a piece of cloth over, like a little loincloth over his knees. And he doesn't wear elbow pads either. It blows my mind.
That makes it even more impressive, to be honest.
Here we go.
So yeah, now jumping back into this second point, Edmonton Impact need to get it back here. Red Legion getting that first one. Smotroff might have caught one trying to get out back corner bunker here on the snake side of the field as Malloy is going to reposition. It looks like Smotroff's coming off.
Yeah, he caught one from the inside. Brandon Cornell dove into the Dorito 1 and was looking inside, and that's a play that Tyler was doing really well.
Look, Karslev gets all the way into that 50 Dorito over there on the Dorito side, shoots Keith Brown to even this up. So it's 4-on-4 advantage to the Russians, though, because like you were saying, Ryan, Impact only has 2 on the snake side. They lose their front guy. Malloy now owns the tape, but they let Justin Cornell fill out. He does get shot.
Yeah, because they're in that 50 Dorito looking this way. So now all they need to do is is this Malloy here? Yeah, Malloy needs to get in this snake, and he just crawls right back down around him.
He's looking for it. His eyes are up over the top. He always plays that little bump on the top of that bunker. He'll put his gun sideways, and there goes another look for a second. Yeah, Brandon Cornell. Brandon Cornell walking off, and then a reposition trying to get out wide, not able to do it as Zane has to take the walk as well, and that leaves just poor Rainey Stanzik by himself in the back corner bunker. So now this time, Karslev stays alive and dominates on that D side with, looks like Kirill Peridny.
Yeah, he got 2 big kills over there.
Let me point something out as far as how the Russians, and correct me if I'm wrong, Maddie, because you watch more matches than they have, but they're playing it a little differently. They're putting way more emphasis on that Dorito side. Now, they've always had aggressive plays over there, but they're not playing with those 2 points. They didn't put 3 bodies.
That is an interesting point. They definitely have changed it up, putting a little bit more emphasis on that side of the field, but they've been kind of rolling the dice on both sides. It definitely depends. So I've definitely seen multiple points where the Russians will flood Pantalev and Smotroff and Malloy up here on the snake side and then go with 2 on the D side. But I think that's one of the reasons they're doing so well.
Right. Yeah, because if you look at it, Impact's shooting heavy over here because they're putting the Dorito 1, the can, and the back center are all shooting this direction.
Well, I'm glad that you brought that up, though, because the best teams out here are the hardest teams to scout, and the teams that also have that, hey man, you got a right hook and a left hook, right? So if I don't know which one's coming, it's tough to block, and that's what the Russians, that's the looks that they're giving out here. Now jumping back into this next point is Heat loses the consistent attacker in Ryan Moorhead and tries to reposition and get into D2.
Yeah, so you're looking at Chad George here on your screen. That bunker's a little deflated, and it makes it way tougher to play because you can't quite see down the tape. That the corner is kind of blocked out by the snake 1 and 2, and it's hard to see down the tape.
They definitely should put a little more air in that bunker because that's a very important spot.
Oh, and also, I don't know if you just saw, so what Chad did was he thought there was a guy on his side because when the bunkers are deflated a little bit, as soon as the ball hits it, it starts
Yeah, I'll tell you
what,
guys, Ronnie Dizon is going to work over there. He got all the way up into that Dorito 4, shoots TJ Danner, then gets a shot on, I believe that's Brad McCurley over there, so he owns that entire side. He just moved into the 50. Ronnie Dizon is having a game. He's all the way on AC Dallas' side of the field.
He's having a year. The kid's gotten real good. Also, check out his Dizon docs on YouTube. I love what he's doing with that behind-the-scenes look.
Me too.
I mean, you guys all do a great job of that, keeping us entertained over here as paintball fans. Look at this, though. AC Dallas is just having a hard time staying alive, and they also cannot seem to reposition. You know, and that's a big thing on this field. If you don't have any answer, you better win some gunfights.
Yeah.
And typically that's what AC Dallas is really good at, but now they're just not having a good time out there. First couple points here as Heat's putting it up.
Yeah, it's tough because they're putting heavy pressure on both sides of the field, and that's really something that you need to have. And I think we emphasize, we talk about this all the time, and I talk about it at all the clinics that we do. It's if you want to be able to make it down one side of the field and put pressure over there, you have to come with you have to have a threat on the other side of the field in order to take some of that pressure off.
Well, we're in the pits right now with Houston Heat up by 2. Let's listen in. Well, I said let's listen in, but they seem to be pretty calm in there.
Way to be, Ronnie.
There it is. Way to be, Ronnie. Yeah, that's right there.
I got your gun right here. She's ready to go.
Well, I guess you want to keep Ronnie in the zone, right? Ronnie's dominating on the D side. Just let him do his thing. Seems to be working out. Not much to fix here.
Wow.
And Cornell comes right out into a ball. Takes maybe 3 steps, but unfortunately for the Russians, they had an advantage for a second. They lose Malloy, but then Impact also loses a body out in the back corner bunker.
So
with
again,
Dalton.
Russians shoot 2 bodies off the break. Just like I was saying, it's going to come down to this off the break shooting, I think.
But they lose Karslev, so it's a 3-on-3 Impact, dealing out some off the break shots of their own.
Alex Goldman, so it's going to be interesting to see if Alex Goldman's going to actually put the pressure on by moving up, or if he wants to try to slow it down right now.
Guys, on Sunday, we've seen this a lot. Lots of deaths off the break. Who repositions quicker? Who takes the ground? Who gets to those important spots? And Goldman in a good spot as he's the first to go. One of the more aggressive guys in the league. But this is what you were kind of saying a little bit earlier, is they need to get Goldman going over here on the snake side. Goldman, the MVP from the last event in their win over in France.
He was on fire last event.
Out there. And this snake's a little tougher to play because it's not the traditional get behind him snake. It's really just a butting head snake. You got to go in there and
cave
really
diving.
we call it cave diving, spelunking, because you don't really know where the bodies are. It's hard to identify them, but the Russians have a little bit better. Ooh.
Justin Rabakov, though, getting taken out. So the Russians are going to have a big advantage as they have a body out wide in this 3-on-2 situation on that D side of the field. Looks like he wants to get over to D4. He's currently in D3. You can see on your screen the lineup, last 2 players left alive for Edmonton Impact here with 11 minutes and 27 seconds to go, down by 2.
Yeah, and so what you're doing, what Alex Goldman is doing right now is he's looking across the field, and you see the Russian player out there on your screen. Mouse was just trying to hold that spot, held that lane down. He just doesn't have enough paint to do that. It's not a very good game plan to go into that God bunker.
Well, let's go and check in with Nick Sloviak. He's down in the pits right now.
Hey guys, what is up? In the pits here with Houston Heat, talking to Coach Ryan Smith. They're amped up for this game. They took a lot of notes watching AC Dallas play X Factor, dun, dun, dun. And they know that AC is really good at shooting on the break, and they're trying to answer back and shoot some shots themselves. All the guys are coming back in, getting on their coach, talking about the game plan, and he's kind of letting Chad George and Ryan Moorhead freestyle on this side. So look for some aggressive play on the snake side from Chad George and Ryan Moorhead.
I like that.
Yeah, I like it too. I mean, that's definitely going to help. They're getting a lot of aggression from Ronnie over there on the D side, and backed up by Konstantin Fedorov, who's again been quite phenomenal here at this event. Houston Heat, see if they can keep it going against AC Dallas. See if AC Dallas can live through this break.
And no, they lose. Each team loses 1 body. Ryan Moorhead takes a bounce going into that little cake.
So this is that reposition game, right?
Yep.
You've seen the bloodbath off the break, but who is going to be the first to go is Ryan Hall. No, Brad McCurley. To switch Brad McCurley over here to the snake side, try to get a little more offense for AC Dallas. 4-on-4 situation, a wider spread though, as Chad George wins his gunfight down the sideline. What a beautiful shot by Chad George.
And that was that tough shot I was talking about. So in order for that God bunker to shoot down the tape, he has to come out wide, because the little snake cakes block you out, and then that gives the advantage to the guy who's standing up, obviously dropping it right in on top of you. And it's also tough to bring a Dorito player over here like end of tournament and expect him to really know exactly
to thrive
what to
over
do
on this side of the field.
Yeah, because there's so many blind shots.
Yeah, that's true. There's a lot going on here on the snake side, but Brad did play a lot of points.
Yeah, he's gotten some reps over here.
He told me he got in practice too. They gave him reps because they didn't know who was going to step up as the first attacker on the snake side.
I think that's kind of a smart play by them as well. They know that they have a consistent player over on that D side in TJ Danner. And obviously what AC Dallas has been missing without Axel here is a snake side attacker. So.
And it looks like Waring getting a spin, and he's at the 50-yard line, but then he's about to lose his gunfight. Did he trade out in that gunfight? I do not see a body walking off for Houston Heat. And AC Dallas, again, playing on their heels.
He's on, coming back down, counter moving. Is that Ronnie?
Yeah. Yep. I'll tell you what, so far Ronnie is the MVP of this match. I mean, it's early, but
this is what makes Heat scary, Marcelo.
Totally is. They have guys that are just stepping up. They've had a lot of just grit and fire this year, you know?
Well, they got a lot of guys. Look, it's you guys are in a Lion's Den with Dynasty. They're in a Lion's Den. All these top teams, it's Survivor Island, man. It's tough out there, and you got a lot of alpha personalities there, all trying to struggle for playing time and struggle to get their will asserted and their views on the game. But what that does is it's difficult to be there. I can tell you from personal experience, but it also creates greatness. You know that. Yeah. I think that cauldron, that forge, whatever metaphor, pick your metaphor. But that causes greatness. Heat looking outstanding right now. Let's check in again with Nick Sloviak.
Back here in the pits with Impact. Impact all got together in their pit on Dave Baines and Bart Yakimak, and Bart said to the guys, stay calm, stay cool, stay collected. Let's get together. Let's take a timeout. They all got in nice and tight. No one was complaining. Set up a game plan. Dave Baines drew out the line. Those guys are focused. They know what they need to do to win, and they are looking to come out here and play aggressive and smart against the Red Legion.
Well, now is the question is what game plan are the Russians going to go with? Because we have not seen hyper-conservative game plans work on this layout unless you shoot bodies on the break with the heavy guns. So getting a little bit of ground will slow your opponents down when you have a big lead, and there are tactical defensive possibilities from that situation. But just going 4 or 5 across the back is not necessarily the way to go if you're the Russians right now.
Well, this has been the Russians' biggest weakness all year. They're really good at getting leads, and they let people back in the game, and Impact is one of the best at getting back into the game. So
Impact had one of the greatest comebacks I've seen in Texas.
Yeah.
They went up 6-1
against the Russians.
So it's never over if there's time on the clock, and because all these points went so quick, and I know Impact knows that. They probably just talked about that in the pick. We just did this to these guys this year with 11 minutes and 15 seconds to go. They sent Smotrop to the brick off the break, and it looks like we're going to have a body drop for, and we are, and it's going to be Dalton again getting shot off the break. So the Russians are doing a spectacular job of isolating the attackers for Edmonton Impact, and they go pretty conservative heavy guns in the backfield.
And the Russians are actually doing a pretty good job right now in this setup to lock down the field, because so if you look, let's see, so you see Alex Goldman on your screen right now. He owns this outside, but the Russians in that center line are all playing so tight right now that even if he does get up the field, he's going to have a hard time to shoot anybody. Plus the Russians have a guy sitting in that center can locking off that snake zone, and so Alex Goldman's going to have a tough time getting past him. Then Malloy just fills out into this little tiny cake over here, and then the Russians don't own the outside on the Dorito side. They're doubled up in that can.
Well, it looks like Malloy's thinking about trying to get in there, so he's going to low crawl up through that lane.
That's where you want to be. That's the spot you want to be if you want to hold down the field, because you can check off the tape. Oftentimes they won't know you're there, and you can surprise guys, and you have it's a fortress.
Well, they're definitely. I'm sorry, Marcel. They're definitely going to know that Smotrop's at that brick because he's leading all the way into that bunker.
I love this move that J-Rab just made. He has not done it much. He did a similar thing in Atlantic City, getting up the center when it's something that he hasn't done much. So if the Russians aren't careful, he's going to pick them up trying to come through this gap.
Yeah, and this is the setup right now. So Alex Goldman's actually out of paint right now.
He's got a pot on his back.
No, that thing's it popped open.
Oh,
that pot on his back is open.
Right. Oh, you're right.
So here comes Alex Goldman getting that kill, but the Dorito won.
But is he still alive? And Goldman is good to go. Oh no, he gets gets shot cross field.
He's alive.
No, he's still alive in there. And now he's going to get taken out, but Goldman gets two though, and this is what we keep talking about though, is as the Russians are getting eaten up here, trying to play defense, as Goldman comes through, does his damage, and the Mr. Consistent for Edmonton Impact, and Zach Yakimek is out here rolling his gun here, and the only body on this snake side of the field for either squad.
Oh, he's freaking out. Like, he needs to relax over there. So you see, it was a Zach Yakimek holding off this side now that they know they have kill 3 and there's nobody on the snake side. The Russians are both lined up on that Dorito side, but what they need to do, he's going to get a cross shot. What they need to do is just relax over there and try to keep burning off this time.
Karslev goes into the 50-yard line to try to get a better angle on the crossfield shot on Zach, but not able to do it. I don't think he knows where Zach is.
Yeah, but Zach doesn't know where he is, but they're going to find each other right here.
Well, if Zach pops up in this spot and is not careful, but Zach's going to get a free kill on Kirill. Zach Yakimek is going to win this one here for Edmonton Impact. What a huge point. Nice work by Alex Goldman and Zach Yakimek, the combo on the snake side of the field.
Yeah, Alex Goldman opened that point up.
He had 2 huge shots, being so close to both of those guys, and neither one of them putting a ball on him. And then it freaked out Malloy so much that when he came over the top, he got caught as well.
So that's a 2-pack for Zach and a 2-pack for Goldman. To keep Impact in this match. Again, a ton of time left on the clock as these points have been going pretty quick. That one went a little bit longer. Now a 2-point deficit here for Edmonton Impact. And again, it's a rematch from the game we saw in the prelims. The Russians won in overtime. The Russians already have a victory and win the pits right now with Impact. Let's listen in.
And you can look right now, they're in first place in the season. So a win here will probably solidify that, but a loss and a win for Heat will really possibly cost them the season.
Well, what needs to happen is Heat is 25 points behind Impact. So there's 27-point difference between first and third place. Heat needs to win, get into the finals, and win this, win the tournament. And Impact needs to get beat by the Russians for Heat to steal the series.
Yeah, I believe we actually even had a choice or a chance.
You did have a chance. You were 62 points behind, so you definitely had a chance. If you had won the tournament and Impact had got knocked out and taken like a 9th or a 10th or an 8th, 7th or 8th,
yeah, if we would have beat them and won the tournament, we would have won.
Depending on
Heat.
If we played Heat in the finals, I believe they may have locked it up. I'm not sure.
Well, yeah, I mean, you guys were about 30-something points away from Heat, but regardless, looking at AC Dallas here now getting, oh, look at this as Ryan Moorhead stitches up Matt Jackson, and Ryan Moorhead's going to get a free kill crossfield, a little 2-pack. This is just what I'm talking about.
That was a 3 or 4 pack right there for
Ryan Moorhead has just been absolutely outstanding, and he's going to run in and hit that buzzer for Houston Heat.
Ran in, though.
Because, so it's smart for him to run this in. I like what he did, even though Heat is turning every point like this, so is AC Dallas. So it comes down to this with how the weather is, how hot everything is who has a deeper roster and who can play more. So I like him running that point in because it's going to drain the AC guys now.
Instead of a little more difficult because there's another game going on.
Keep that pressure going, man. Especially when you're playing against teams that have to double up on all those, on all their guys. You know, if you're playing against,
if the game was turning, I agree with that. But with another match being played and you're about to go up 4-0, I'm going to try to take some time off that clock. But they're in a better position than us right now, so we'll put away now.
What do we know?
So there is Ryan Moorhead on your screen. Just an outstanding performance yet again from Moorhead, and it's tough on Heat, man. I mean, they have a stacked roster, so just to start on that team is difficult, and then you have to continue to play well to keep that spot. But Ryan Moorhead, just the offensive force out there, and they're going to go at 4-0. Right now, Red Legion, the 2-point lead, but there is a bunch of time left. Can Impact repeat that come from behind victory they had against the Russians in Texas?
And this is the first time, I believe, that Impact has had 5 alive.
Ooh, and the Russians
get a penalty over there.
A penalty right now. That's going to hurt.
Absolutely. And Brandon Cornell going to work over on that Dorito side. He's all the way in that 40-yard line brick. J-Rab making his way up to that center can. Really good field position. Alex Goldman in this 50, applying pressure.
This always happens to the Russians when they go up points against Impact. If I was the Russians, I would just go with my most offensive game plans. Absolutely. If I was playing Houston or playing Edmonton Impact, even regardless of the score.
That's what they're good at. They're really good at that in practice. That's what they put emphasis on, is not being in your bunker too long, making moves, applying pressure. That's what they train for. That's what they want to do. That's what they're comfortable with. But in all this madness, Malloy made an insane fill to reposition himself and get over to that Dorito side to kind of spread the field. That's definitely going to burn some time off the clock, but great field position. Obviously a body advantage for Impact. It's 5-on-3, I believe, or did Impact lose one?
Impact making a move.
No, they have 5 guys still, I think. There's 2 on the Snake side, and there's 3 over on the Dorito side. I just can't find the third body over there.
Impact made a move into the Dorito 50.
Yeah. And then they're in that Dorito over there, the 40-yard line Dorito.
Okay, yeah, Dorito 3.
No,
there he is.
He was in D2 and just into D4 right now. So it's D4 in the 50-yard line for Impact. 5 bodies alive. They've had Goldman here in the Snake this entire time. Impact looking real good, but
Alex Goldman's going to get a shot on. Okay, now they found Alex Goldman in the Snake now. So that little lane right there on the left-hand side of Alex Goldman, there's a perfect lane to the corner.
Brandon Cornell is past the 50-yard line. He gets the drop on Pantalev. And I heard that he was playing phenomenal in practice for them. We did a pre-show with Rainey and with Bart, and they were both talking about how awesome Brandon Cornell was playing.
Yep, gets another kill on the Snake corner, and here comes J-Rab to finish off Malloy.
And just blasts him in the face and shoots him into the ground.
Huge point by Brandon Cornell.
Yeah, the Russian coaching staff should have blown that horn before Malloy got bumped.
I just do not like the fact that when the rush, I know it's the traditional way to do it. You go up 3 points, you want to get in there and have a relatively conservative game plan, maybe take a little ground. I don't think the Russians should do that at all. Not after all the leads they've been blowing. I think they should just stay on the gas pedal. Let's check in again with Nick.
Hey guys, over here in the AC Dallas pit, listening to Coach Greg Pauly talk to his team, talking about playing with bodies alive, staying alive off the break. These guys need to play their game of paintball. They are really focused on this one. Got to see the game plan they drew up. Got a lot of moves in the snake side. They're looking to match Chad George and Ryan Moorhead. They know that that's where they're losing this game. So pay attention to that on this next breakout.
All right, we will do that, Nick. But to go real back, so with the Russians, hey, prove me wrong. If you guys can hold on to a lead, then you can start playing like that. But they just have very, very seldom here on Sundays have they been able to get huge leads and keep them against, the top teams like Heat, Impact, and so here we go, jumping into this one right now. Heat, giant lead over AC Dallas. AC Dallas is struggling to get any offense going.
Yeah, Chad, going up into that brick, getting bounced going in there, but AC Dallas losing 2 bodies over on that. 3 bodies already.
Penalty over for Houston Heat on Chad George. Looks like he took a shot in the pack on the way out to that snake corner, but 2 bodies dropped for AC Dallas.
Looks like it's a 3-on-3.
Yeah, 3 bodies have dropped, now 4. It's just Ryan Hall in the back corner bunker here for AC Dallas.
2-on-1 situation.
2-on-1 right now. Like a bomb just went off. I don't think they know where the last body is.
No, Ryan Hall, now they know there's a body left alive, and Chad Boucher is going to try to find him. Oh, and Chad rolls up and gets perfectly cyclops by Ryan Hall, so now it's going to be a 1-on-1 situation here with Fedorov and Ryan Hall. So Fedorov retreats to guard his buzzer and burn more time off this clock with this giant lead they have. There's still 9 minutes and 20 seconds left to go. Earlier this morning, we saw some long, drawn-out points, but, man, it's been nothing but quick points out here.
And there's a nasty blind shot right there, like shooting over the top of that thing directly into the Dorito one. So,
well, Ryan lost him, that's what you're trying to do in a 1-on-1. You want to make a move, make your opponent lose you.
And Fedorov's playing this really smart because look, there's still 9 minutes left, So I guess now on this one, had they.
And he wins the 1-on-2 situation.
Wow.
So beautiful job by Ryan Hall. This is not good. If you're seeing Fedorov limp, that's a pretty big limp, and Ryan Hall is going to run in there, wins this 1-on-2 against Chad Boucher, and Konstantin Fedorov is coming off, having a real tough time over here. This Heat does not look good. This is not good to see for Houston Heat.
Oh man, I hope he's okay.
Ryan Hall, epic 1-on-2 here to keep his team in this match.
Brad, what happened?
And we're going to have to see, might be able to get a look in the pits. Fedorov is still having a hard time.
Yeah, his team isn't even helping him to get off the field.
Yeah, somebody on Heat needs to go help.
Yeah, the second one of our guys gets hurt or something like that, we're all on the field trying to help him off the field. What are the Heat guys doing? Just watching him walk off the field.
You guys were trying to kick me in the knee in the pits.
So there's Fedorov. He rips his pack off, and there's definitely something wrong as he slams his pack in there, and very frustrated that it definitely looks like a groin.
Yeah, it looks like a groin thing.
Yeah, it looks like a groin because his ankle, he's on his ankle okay. Wow, that's a tough break for Houston Heat. They still have a 3-point lead. Now we're jumping back into this very close game as Impact fighting back, but it looks like Goldman going to get taken out off the break. And they also shoot Karslev, though, so it's 4-on-4. Referee checking out the back player here for Impact. They're going to pull out Justin Cornell.
Yep.
But Malloy's up in that center 50. Remember, Matty, you were mentioning something about...
That's Wilmette, I think. But anyway, go ahead.
About nobody really playing that center because that center's tough to play, but it's a 4-on-3 right now, and the Russians own that center right now, which is going to lock off the snake side completely. So if the Russians recognize that, they can make this move around the tape and really get up the field. So right here on your screen, you're looking at the Russian players looking at an wide open snake side of the field, and this is where that attack needs to come.
Yeah, the Russians just have a body advantage right now and really good field position. Impact is totally on their heels. You want to win this point and kill as much time as you can.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, this is the point to draw it out.
Yeah,
you just can't make any mistakes.
Exactly, no mistakes. Get into the good spots and make Impact pay for not being wide.
And I really like how they, Ryan, you mentioned that they decided to go up to the center. If a play has not been run in a long period of time, people aren't expecting that. And it's good to put that body in and change that angle up, because you're going to get, just into that rut of looking outside, both D side and snake side.
Yeah, and watching the Russian snake player right now is just giving me chills, because the snake side's wide open, and the way you get shot out of that snake is just by probing around back and forth through that big gap.
That's Smotroff in there.
Yeah, he needs to get around to the snake 2, the other team's snake side, and wrap around.
Pantalev just got a shot in on Brandon Cornell. But it looks like
Malloy just got shot.
Malloy just got taken out. Who did Malloy just got shot?
By J-Rab, I think, but it's now a
3-on-2.
Oh, and J-Rab gets taken out too. But what are they doing in this snake right here?
I'm surprised Bart hasn't. There we go.
There's the towel.
Tense
surprised
moment.
that didn't come a little sooner.
We're biting our nails on both sides watching these guys play out here.
Man.
Semifinals at the World Cup. This is the biggest tournament in the world.
Unbelievable. Yeah, I think this might be the biggest tournament ever, too.
518 teams, is that right?
Teams.
Yeah, 518.
I mean,
yeah, that's awesome.
Maddie, I don't know. I know you get here super early and you leave super late, but I don't know.
I was up at 5:45 this morning.
I don't know if you've been in the parking lot. I know you probably got the VIP parking lot.
Yes,
everything.
we do.
But getting in and out of that parking lot is atrocious.
To be honest, I haven't seen that yet, because I get here before everyone and we leave after everybody when it starts.
It's incredible.
But I know I actually did get a glimpse at it, but I haven't been sitting in it. And there's on your screen is Fedorov.
Oh no.
And we also want to get to Nick Slovack in the pits, but got a lot to talk about up here, so we're going to get back into this next point.
But you saw that Fedorov is out. So right now it is a 5-on-5 breakout. Okay, I think everybody is in their spots. Yeah, 5-on-5 breakout, and Ryan Moorhead kind of taking a little less ground over here. Interesting fill on that one. Was that San Monville?
Yeah, it looked like it.
Yeah.
No,
that
that's
was
Nico Hyde.
Like, that was a completely unnecessary fill. I guess he went out there because AC Dallas made the outside corner on the Dorito side, so he kind of wanted to patch that hole. No one can stop the Dorito side, really, except for the center temple that Ryan Moorhead's playing right now. If he looks across, he can stop the move from Dorito 3 to the 50 Dorito. But other than that, once you make it out to that tape, you can get all the way into Dorito 3 pretty much unscathed. So I think that's what Nico's plan was to do, but it wasn't a really well thought out plan, I don't think. So 4-on-5 right now.
And a lot of time left.
A lot of time left.
A lot of time, 7:46 to go, and AC Dallas now down by 3 off the back of that 1-on-2 that Ryan Hall just pulled off against Chad Boucher and Konstantin Fedorov. And also, Konstantin Fedorov looks like he injured his groin. The referee is going to run in and pull a penalty on Ryan Moorhead, which pulls out Chad George, and this is going to open the door.
And Ryan Hall just opened him up straight down that center cut right there. And Ronnie Dizon trying to go for a desperation run right there at the end. Not really, clock awareness was not really in the game plan, I don't think.
They may have wanted to kill some more time earlier.
Oh, now he throws the towel in. Yeah, he probably should have killed a little more time. What do we know?
It could go either way. I'm with you, Ryan.
Yeah.
I would really like to check in on Fedorov in the pit if we can.
Well, it looks like we got Nick with a little bit of info on Fedorov.
Hey guys, Marcel, I'm not in the pit, I'm down here in front of you, but went right back there. Fedorov immediately grabbed a large bag of ice, went behind the pit, dropped his paintball pants, and has that bag of ice and tape on his right inner thigh and his leg. He's not talking much, he's in a lot of pain. It doesn't look like he's gonna be back in this match. Ryan Smith has got Nico Hyde and Devers Stewart on standby. You saw Nico Hyde's last point out there, but things are not looking good for Fedorov. He's not talking to anybody, and he's got a huge bag of ice on his right leg.
You don't want to see that.
Injuries are the worst. I mean, he just came off of a bad injury, and like.
Well, sometimes too, when you have to favor, obviously, Marcel, you know all about this.
Ooh, Alex Goldman taking a bounce, or possibly getting shot going in there.
A little bit less time in this match, but yeah, Goldman is still alive. 5 alive for both squads as the Russians are getting a little penetration in that center now, changing things up a bit as they're going to that spot, Ryan, that you were talking about.
Right. They're trying to slow down that up and out move, so that's gonna, so you can see the paint flooding through. Well, you can't see it on your screen right now, but if there's an overhead shot of Justin and Alex Goldman, you can see how much paint is just being tossed through that gap. as the Russians kind of panel matches them up to try to slow down that Dorito side, which is a smart move. But the Impact guys going with 3 bodies on this snake tape to try to speed up this side. You know?
Tough death for Brandon Cornell out of his spot at a D1. That's going to force Yakimek to get back, and this is the point for Edmonton Impact. They're down by 2. There's 3 minutes and 25 seconds left to go. If Russian Legion can burn a little more, or a little bit more of this clock off and win this point, it could be curtains for Impact. We will see. I mean, again, as long as there's time on the clock, Impact has a chance, as they've proven.
And Pantalev is playing on the other side of that brick, completely in the open. But the whole Dorito side is pretty much dead. I mean, aside from Justin Rabikoff, but I'm sure there's enough pressure on Justin Rabikoff right now to stop any movement. And it looks like Alex Goldman's going to try to finesse the center can player out. The center can player for the Russians is really having a tough time. Oh, and Justin Rabikoff dies over there on that Dorito side. So Impact has lost their entire Dorito side now. And I believe it's 5-on-3 right now.
And all 3 of those players are on the D side of the field, so not an ideal 3-body situation for Edmonton Impact.
So as you can see this overhead view, you know, that Russian player was able to just flood that little lane, and now that there's nobody on the Dorito side, he doesn't have to worry. He can kind of cheat over that side, and Impact conceding that point.
Huge point for the Russians, trying to win 2 events in a row with their rebuilt lineup here against the favorites in this tournament. Edmonton Impact has been so dominant for years now, sitting at first place overall. And if you're also a Houston Heat fan, this is what you want to see too, because Houston Heat 25 points away from that series title. If they win the tournament and Impact takes 3rd, they will win the series title by 2 points. We're in the pits right now with Impact. Let's listen in.
I mean, if we go to Canada and try and go up the middle now. He was only there the last. And we use Brandon here, get out here, 80 here, and then here.
So, boys, real quick, well, we'll get to it in a second, but
this guy's got to shoot. All right.
Jumping into this next point here with AC Dallas, Houston Heat. 2-point spread.
Ooh, and a big breakout for Heat guys, taking both outsides, although losing Ronnie Dizon, but Chad George.
They lose Dizon and Ryan Moorhead, but Chad George was able to get a shot in on Matt Jackson. But TJ Danner still alive. TJ Danner actually looks like dislocated his shoulder in their first match in the quarterfinals, but he's still out there playing. It's a shoulder he's had problems with.
Okay, well, yeah.
Oh, yeah, so no big deal.
No big deal.
Well, it's still terrible, but
yeah, no, I hear you.
There's some guys that they just pop it, it pops out,
Yep.
it looks terrible, they pop it back in, they're like, I'm fine. TJ's one of those guys.
Yeah.
All right. So 4-on-3 right now. AC Dallas has the body positions, but Chad George in this snake 1 right here, which can do a lot of damage, and Heat definitely has a good body position out there on that Dorito side. But if they can, if AC Dallas can get Chad off the field, then they'll be able to close this one out. It's a 2-on-1 down this snake tape. But it's tough. It's tough with the way that their AC Dallas guys are playing down, both of them on their knees, lined up behind each other. Ooh. And Chad George shoots that shot down the lane that I was talking about,
That's
right down that line.
2 huge kills. Yeah, that's a bad death. 2 huge kills for Chad George, though, in this point. Brad McCurley in front of him as they switch him over to try to get more offense on this snake side. And he might have got a shot in on Chad George. And Chad George is going to come up and get
Oh, my gosh. Brad gets a shot on him coming
Brad,
across.
Brad shot him.
I believe so.
It was either, no, it was TJ.
TJ?
TJ crossed
TJ.
field.
Yeah, dude.
I was like, did Brad shoot him on the dive?
Yeah, Brad didn't have his gun up, I didn't think. I mean, regardless, great play by both of them.
Brad McCurley really wanting to win World Cup here with some stellar play, and Chad George with those 2 key kills. So we'll see if AC Dallas can break open this line with the 3 bodies that they have left alive. You know, with Sam Monville in back corner bunker here on the snake side, and they do also have a body in the back corner bunker on the D side as well too. 5 minutes and 13 seconds left to go, so time not yet an issue. The 2-point spread.
Yeah, and Sam Monville is definitely a guy you want in this situation. As a matter of fact, he is really good at these low body situations.
He's pulled,
it's a specialty.
He's pulled
hands
a lot
down.
of them off.
Yeah,
just this year,
sure.
he pulled off, I think it was a 2-on-4 or 5 in Vegas. He had one over in Europe as well too, and that was just this year.
And if you look at him right now, he can't play anywhere else. Yeah, wow,
not this time. Brad
that was
McCurley.
a nice shot.
There it is.
Brad just stepped
Locking
up.
in.
Bring him over to the snake side, boys.
Yeah, that was the move right there.
So AC Dallas is not done yet. A 1-point match here as they roar back into this match here in the semifinals at the World Cup. With 4 minutes and 34 seconds left to go, we got ourselves a game. That's 3 unanswered points here for AC Dallas.
Yeah, they well, the Heat guys kind of, when they went up that 4 points, they put it on a different line to give their guys a little bit of a break, and then they lost momentum right there when they changed that lineup and put a couple different guys in. And they're still trying to take ground over on that Dorito side, which doesn't make any sense because that's the most shootable guy. If I want to burn some time off, you want to get 5 guys alive or make sure you shoot some bodies. You don't want to give them 3 guys to shoot at. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because obviously the payoff is great by making all those spots. However, it's so dangerous to do that, and you just saw they lost 2 bodies off the break by taking unnecessary risks, in my opinion. Let's go.
We'll see if the Russians can hold off as they have a 3-point lead with 2:33. Edmonton Impact did this against them in Texas. In case you just joined us, we were talking about it, but this is going to be a tough one. It was a different situation there. It was a 6-1 score, but they didn't have a lot of time left.
And the Impact guys coming heavy up the center right here, not getting any kills. Somehow, and Nick Laval taking a hit. Zach Yakmak getting up into the 50 snake right here, and he's gonna look to wrap around and try to get some shots on the center guys in the line right there. Doesn't get anybody in, but gets discovered. And it looks like 2 bodies down for Impact right now. Not looking great. It's a 3-on-5.
Zach Yakmak still alive though, with Alex Goldman behind him. There's definitely only 3 bodies left alive here for Impact, as the Russians still hanging strong with 5 alive, and this is not looking good for Impact. They might be getting knocked out here in the semifinals.
If you can just see, the paint is just exploding off inside this maze of bunkers over here on the Snake side. It's so hard to get around, but here comes Alex Goldman, pretty much out of paint already. And he's gonna go look for some shots up in the center of the field.
Gonna need some heroics here from one of these players for Edmonton Impact. We're coming up on 1 minute and 24. Then they need 3 just to tie. It is not looking good for Edmonton Impact.
Yeah, I do not see it happening.
And they're in here. They're just not producing any kills. It's just,
I mean,
it's so difficult.
The Russians are playing so tight right now. If you look at every single one of their guys, they're not showing anything.
Well, Zach is forced to commit. He knows it doesn't really matter if he gets shot or lose anyway. He has to try something here because they don't have much time to mess around. They need to win this point, and I mean, to give themselves any real chance, they need to win this point in like the next 5 seconds. And I don't see that happening.
And Brandon Cornell gets taken out on that Dorito side.
Well, here comes Goldman, as Goldman's going to come through, and he's going to get diced up by Malloy. And then Malloy's going to come through and execute Zach. They knew exactly where those bodies were, and it looks like that is going to do it. And Smotrov punked up right now. Amazing job by the Russians to contain the attack.
Yep, Russians look good.
So they're actually just going to sit and burn the rest of this clock off because I don't see a concession coming from Impact. I mean, this ship has sailed. Edmonton Impact is getting knocked out here. The best team in the world now. This does give Houston Heat a chance to win the series title, as Impact, the best they can do is 3rd. And Heat in the AC Dallas game is very close. That is a 1-point match. But the Russians, whoever wins the AC Dallas Heat game, is going to have to contend with a strong Russian Legion, who just knocked out the #1 ranked team in the world, a team that won the last event in Chicago, that is completely rebuilt with their new young lineup, with the veterans holding strong. Unbelievable performance by the Russians.
Yeah, they look good. They're sharp. They, they knew their shots. They got a lot of kills on the break. Towards the end of the match, they weren't shooting as many people off the break, but they really set the tone and got what they wanted and forced Impact to play into their hand. And when you force Impact to have to do stuff, they become predictable. You know, it's with any team. When you start shooting people off the break, you can dictate the entire pace of the game, and that's what the Russians did. They shot people early, and they just forced the hand of Impact. Impact wasn't able to play the game that they wanted to play. They played a game that they had to play.
Well, wow. I mean, if the Russians can win World Cup and Chicago, I mean, 2019 is going to get crazy as far as, because you guys are still amazing. I mean, when you look at the top of the league, it's the parity in the top 5 or 6 is pretty ridiculous now. So I think 2019 could be a really fun year to watch professional paintball.
Right, and that's what we were talking about coming into today. It was like, well, every single one of the top teams, like the top 10 teams, are the top 10 teams that made it on here. And like there were no upsets. It was just like, these are the guys who came to win World Cup.
Yeah, the top teams, the top 10 teams definitely stepped up for the World Cup pressure for sure.
All right, 5 guys making it alive for Houston Heat, and Houston Heat eliminating that Dorito corner. That is such a huge kill to be able to get that guy off the field.
Yeah, TJ Danner too.
Because it takes a lot of pressure off of those moves, like what Nico Hyde did the game before on that outside fill.
Well, no one on the D side means a lot less crossfire, right? It's a lot less paintballs you got to worry about coming from that other side of the field. And now that they know that, so they're going to send Jackson to that side. He's going to get into D1 for AC Dallas. But AC Dallas trying to fight to get that 4th point on the board to tie it up. They have 4 minutes to do so, but with a one-body disadvantage.
Right, and Ryan Moorhead right now in that brick for Houston Heat.
Doing surgery on his gun.
Surgery on his gun. There it is. There's the overhead view. He had a little ball jam or a loader jam of some sort, so hopefully he clears that out. But, you know, he's burning valuable time, which is also good. Oh, still having some issues with that loader of his. I can hear his gun dry firing from here. So this might have a fat ball or something.
This is bad timing.
And nobody saw that move.
Yeah, no one saw that move. There is not one gun. No one is even looking towards the snake side. Heat has 5 players alive, and no one's looking at Ryan Hall. And now they put 2 guns on him. So good as now they're able to get, and I don't know if Ryan Moorhead's going to have to get tight in there as Ryan Hall has the drop on him. Oh, I don't know if Ryan Moorhead can get small enough. He's lucky that bunker is deflated a little bit.
Yeah, Chad George needs to get into the snake just to put some pressure heads up on him.
Well, Ronnie Dizon is pushing the issue on that D side of the field.
And right now, if you get a zoom in to Ryan Moorhead's doing a really smart job with those pods right there.
Yep, I see that.
That's a little Rusty Glaze BKI trick that's going to come out pretty soon.
I mean,
remember.
I'm glad. I love what you guys are doing with BKI, but that trick's been around for about 25 years.
Oh no! They're going to give a penalty. A
major penalty on Houston Heat.
That is
now they have the bodies to pull though.
Or no, wait a minute.
They have the bodies to pull.
It's a
major penalty on AC Dallas.
Oh, AC Dallas. Ryan Moorhead got that call for him. I couldn't tell what was going on there. Ryan Moorhead was posted on him and definitely shooting.
Well, that might have just done it here as it's, well, not necessarily. It's a 2-point spread with 2 minutes and 25 seconds left. AC Dallas absolutely has the...
They'll be starting with 4.
Yes, but if they can get a kill, they could even it up. Yeah. You're right. That's going to make it a lot harder for AC Dallas is with that major penalty. It looked like they didn't have enough bodies to... We'll have to get an update maybe from Nick as to whether or not they had enough bodies to pull. The referees are talking to Jason. Ryan Smith's coming over to talk to him too. And Mark Johnson for AC Dallas. So Jason gives Mark the bad news. As you can see here on the replay. So here comes Ryan Hall as he launches to try to get a shot.
I didn't see the hit until Ryan Moorhead was definitely shooting. I didn't see anything spray off of him from this angle.
I mean, well, he definitely has a big Cyclops. I just couldn't see from our angle here.
Let's see.
So we're in the pits with AC Dallas.
Yep, looks like AC is starting down 1.
Right now they're starting down 1. They're reviewing the penalty.
How are we starting down a body? Everybody was alive. I was alive and John was alive.
Yeah, so they're arguing that they had 2 bodies alive, but they actually didn't. I think Ronnie Dizon had made a counter punch on the other side and eliminated the snake corner, leaving only 1 body left for AC Dallas.
You saw the same thing I saw. I don't know if they saw if they see guys in the pits, because the pits are on the opposite sides of the fields. It's not as close as it normally is, so the visibility is not as great from the pits. So let's check in with Nick Sloviak.
So the big story there in that penalty was that Chad George came over the top of the snake insert bunker just as Ryan Hall was making that move, and he's the one who shot Ryan, and Ryan continued to run down the snake and put a ball on Ryan Moorhead. Okay. So battle of the Ryans and the snake there. Those guys are going to obviously wait for the review to see if they have bodies alive, but it's not looking good right now, and they're planning to go out there with 4 bodies to play this next point.
Tough break and a tough penalty for AC Dallas. Houston Heat, though, looking pretty good to potentially advance on to the final match to contend with the Russians and see who's going to win World Cup. And Ryan Hall, winning that 2-on-1 situation. So anyway, like what you guys are doing with Field 1, how are things going with that?
Yeah, we're still developing or finishing the prototyping of our new gun, but we have our new barrel out. We have a couple other little things that are coming out, trickling out as well. But we're pretty stoked on this barrel that we have, the AccuLock barrel system. It's completely different than anything out there on the market right now. There's no other barrel like it. It's a 3-piece barrel like the other types of barrels that are out there. However, the difference is the control bores that are in here are the actually pieces that are threaded into the barrel. So this control bore actually threads into the barrel, and as you screw in the tip, it creates the pressure that locks the barrel system in place. So the barrel goes into this sleeve, the back of the sleeve, and as you thread this in, and it creates a perfect lineup every single time. So as you thread that in, you'll see.
Yeah, perfect.
I
used to make barrels for 5 years at Dye, and that is about as perfect as it gets. I'm not just saying that. That's pretty good, man.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a new feature, and it eliminates that floating insert. A lot of people, there's some people that are not 100% proven on that floating barrel system that's out there right now, just because as the O-rings wear or whatever, it can kind of come out of alignment a little bit. On top of that,
thank you for the gift, by the way.
Yeah, you go ahead, keep that one. The other thing about that this eliminates is because this is threaded into the barrel, when you unscrew your barrel and you go to squeegee it out, you're not going to knock any of those inserts out, which apparently is a common thing when people are frantically trying to get their barrels screwed in and squeegeed out in the pit. So it's a pretty cool new invention that we have going on out there.
Well, keep up the good work in field 1.
Thank you.
Jumping back into this point here, as this is still a game if AC Dallas can live through the break.
And AC Dallas makes a huge bite over there on that Dorito side, getting into that 50 Dorito pretty much off the break.
Yeah, Brad McCurley. So they put Brad McCurley. He's their the biggest offensive threat on the team. This time they switch him over. He takes the 50 off the break. They picked up Waring for his speed, and he's able to get here into the snake. So here comes, and TJ Danner is up in the center, so they know that they don't have a lot of time to work with. Looks like Matt Jackson comes off, and TJ tries to attempt the run through, not able to get there as Heat was up out of their spots and rolling those guns. The opportunities are starting to fall away here for AC Dallas, as Houston Heat now puts their 6th point on the board. And
that's an interesting concede. 2 minutes to go, down 3. You had only 2 guys alive, but they were in the 50s. You almost got to ride that out.
At least give them another 20 seconds or so.
I mean, no, I think at that point you got to decide you either ride it out or you blow the buzzer, right? But 2 minutes, 3 points is really, really, really tough.
It's just, I mean, you're kind of hoping, though, that it's a low percentage play that one of those guys is going to be able to run through. So I understand from a textbook side why you would blow that.
We need 45-second points roughly.
So there's John Jackson saying we need 45-second points, which is possible.
It is. Yeah, it's really tough on this field.
It's a big ask.
What's the quickest point been on this field
on
this
weekend? Field, we've definitely seen some pretty quick points.
Under a minute?
Oh, absolutely. We've seen a 25-second point.
Wow.
So I would say probably 25 seconds is right around probably the quickest point that we've seen.
Well, they need a few of those.
Yeah, they do.
Trying, dude. They're not giving me anybody to shoot at. I got straight to the Omaha and they're hiding. Nobody for me to shoot.
Yeah, well, of course they're hiding, Brad. They have the lead.
Yeah, that's the way to do it right there, is just get to a spot and hunker down. And a lot of the other fields that we've played on, especially this year, is like you couldn't really hide from that really big wave push. Out here, it seems like
you can, but a little bit easier. A little bit easier. You can hide, but it's still tough.
Yeah, it's definitely still tough, but because we did that with the Russians. We did a bunch of when we were practicing over the last weekend. We did a bunch of 1 minute points. Like one team has to score, the other team has to hold, and the team that had to hold was doing it pretty successfully each time.
Did you do that with them knowing they had to hold? Okay. So it looked like we have a timeout being called here. Well, that's interesting. Yeah, I don't know. This is a big ask from your players and from the luck of the paintball gods, because 3 points needed in 1 minute and 48 seconds left to go. Obviously, if they lose this next one, it's going to be over.
Yeah, that's 100% over.
So it's going to come down to this particular point. Well, okay, so now you guys are knocked out. You can give me all your secrets. What do you think is the best route to run out here to try to score a quick point?
If you can get into the snake, that's the thing. It's so difficult because those temples and those cans can kind of cross it up so well. The only way to shoot that Dorito side can is from wrapping around this snake 2 beam. But you really, if the guys are playing tight enough, those 2 little center temples, they can't get shot either. And I mean, you can see. Let's say 10 seconds? No, 20 seconds. So it's tough, man. It really is. You have to catch guys on their secondary delays or really surprise them. But because Houston Heat knows it's coming, it's hard to surprise those guys. As you just saw, and as you saw with that impact match, or the impact match right before this, they couldn't shoot anybody. They were in all the 50s. So you got to win it off the break.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. Yeah, exactly right.
And off the break, looks like AC Dallas is going to lose a body. Chad Georgia's coming off, though.
Yeah, and AC Dallas is on their side of the field in the snake here.
Yeah, but this side of the snake is not great.
Right.
Now, if Ryan Moorhead just stays right there, it looks like he's going to get kind of hungry and try to make a
which is good. He owns this side. AC Dallas lost the corner player. He just doesn't need to, you know what I mean?
Right.
But he could totally go bunker Ryan Hall right now and turn the field on them.
Right. But like you said, you don't need to. It doesn't need to get greedy. You just got to sit right here. Now, when you get to where Ryan Hall is, Ryan Hall actually doesn't have any shots. It's really hard to see anybody.
I think Ryan Moorhead might have got a kill.
Looks like it, over on that Dorito side. Brad McCurley. So
AC Dallas is down 2 bodies. It's a 3-on-4 right now.
Well, here comes TJ Danner, and here comes Waring, as Waring is going to fully commit. I can't knock him for that. They need 3. So what are you going to do? You got to roll the dice.
Yeah.
TJ Danner's still alive, though, over there.
Ryan Hall's going to just take one right here.
And Ryan Moorhead is going to trade out with Ryan Hall. Still 2 bodies left alive, and with 40 seconds left, Ryan Moorhead puts his gun up as a dead player, but also in celebration, as it looks like Houston Heat is absolutely going to punch their ticket into the finals, and they are just going to let the time expire, as Houston Heat does still have 2 players alive on the field to burn this clock off. AC Dallas died on their swords, so I'll give them that. They just didn't have an answer at the beginning of this match. They dug themselves too deep of a hole. That's why it's great to go up that many points early, because even if the team starts to come back, you just need to win a couple more to stop that come from behind possibility.
Yeah, in this field, like I was saying, man, it's easy to win the quick points as long as you get kills off the break. But if you don't get those kills, then it's really tough. It's really tough. As you saw, you can get into these 50s, you can get onto their side of the field, and it just, if you know it's coming,
not much to shoot at.
It's not much to shoot at.
So before we sign off, you guys teaching any clinics in the off season that you want to let people know about?
Yeah, so I'm going to Australia, not next weekend, but the weekend after, and then I'll be in Thailand the weekend after that for a clinic. I know, Ryan, I think you have something in Southern California in December.
Yeah,
a birth of his child.
Yeah, I've got a birth. I'm having a baby.
He'll be teaching many clinics once she's born. That's for sure.
Coming out, I'm going to be learning a lot.
Yeah, you're going to be getting taught a clinic on how to change diapers.
That's right. Well, actually, so next weekend, before the holidays, before the baby comes out, next weekend I'm going up to Ambush Paintball in Moore Park. Glenn Forster's field, old Dynasty player, so we're going to do that. Then I'm having a baby. Then come the new year, we've got the Paintball Combine out here. And then the Boston Combine, then the Paintball Combine out here in February. So I'm gonna get, every month I get a little quick weekend break away from my new baby daughter.
Nice. All right. Well, thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for coming up. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. A big congratulations to Houston Heat taking down AC Dallas and Moscow Russian Legion, as that is our final match. But before we get to that, we are going to have the divisional finals coming up here in center court and see who's going to win the World Cup 2018 NXL World Cup, the biggest tournament ever. I'm Matty Marshall, GoSports.com. We'll be back.